Every person at some point in their life has wondered, how can I change the world? Changing the world does not have to start with a big idea. It only takes one person to make a difference and inspire others to do the same.
The discussion of change starts with a small town called Farmville.
Farmville has been the home to one of the greatest education movements in the history of the United States.
It all began with one teenage girl's ability to stand up, be herself, and say no to inequality in education. That teenage girl was Barbara Johns. Barbara Johns grew up in the 50s, during the years that the civil rights movement began. While she was in school, the ruling of Plessy versus Ferguson was in effect, stating that it was lawful to be separate but equal. The United States was separate, but it was by no means equal, especially when it came to education.
Johns attended Moton High School. Moton High School was meant to be at capacity at 200 students. However, it housed over 450 black students.
The school was so crowded, 3 tar paper shacks were built to hold classes in.
Students at the Moton School saw all the books and supplies the white school got, and they realized the two schools were not equal.
On April 23, 1951, Johns told students to meet in the auditorium, and much as in the way Rosa Parks sat down, Barbara Johns stood up and addressed the discrimination the black school was given.
Their walkout led to a court case known as Davis versus County School Board of Prince Edward County.
The case was one of only 5 cases placed together with Brown versus Board of Education, and in the end, the Supreme Court overturned Plessy versus Ferguson. Separate but equal was not equal, and schools must integrate.
Citizens of Farmville and students of the colleges that reside there are worried about the preservation of the history of Barbara Johns and the Moton School.
The museum is only $1.6 million away from its goal of completing its restoration and educating students for generations to come on the history of an overcrowded school, and one girl who stood up and said, "It's not fair."
In this section, we will show you what the galleries look like now and what they will be once they are finished. With your help, this goal can be accomplished. Gallery 2. This room is supposed to focus on all men are created equal, and the visitor has the opportunity to see the contrast with this statement and the reality of segregation. The tar paper shacks would be in the center of the room. The visitors would walk in and see the conditions that the students endured.
Gallery 3. This room is supposed to display the Moton students handing their complaints to the NAACP. Davis versus the Board of Prince Edward County was one of the 5 separate court cases presented at Brown versus Board of Education, which declared separate but equal for all institutions.
Gallery 4. Massive resistance was the result of the Brown 2 decision in 1955 when, with all deliberate speed, was proven ineffective. Here the visitor experiences the uncertainty of the period and the competing national, local, and state interests.
Gallery 5. In 1959, Prince Edward County decided to close schools rather than integrating. In this gallery, the visitor will learn about the decisions families were forced to make to educate their children during the 5 years that the public schools were closed.
Gallery 6. Free education available to all children returned to Prince Edward County in September 1963 through the free schools. Some 800 students enrolled. This gallery introduces the visitor to the challenges and successes of the free school year.
In the end, it doesn't matter where we're from. It doesn't matter how we got here. We were all created equal.